So it's been raining for the past couple of days, and if you're like me, you need to get outside. And so I'm taking a walk, and I'm just in my neighborhood, and you can go different places. It can be in your neighborhood, you can venture outside your neighborhood, you can go to parks, you can go to uh, hiking trails, and you'll notice that with all the rain that we've had in the past couple of days, there is a lot of flowers and different plants springing up everywhere. And so what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be looking for different types of flowers and plants that I find interesting. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to be pressing those things, and I'm going to show you how to press them in a book and to make nice little arrangements out of those that you can keep for a long time. Now, the one thing that you got to remember not to do is you can't go into other people's yards and start plucking all their flowers. I mean, they planted those things and they want them to make their yards look pretty. Now, if they're friends of yours or neighbors that you know really well, and you ask them, hey, can I take one flower? I'm sure they'll let you. But ultimately, don't go and grab a bunch of flowers. In fact, you don't need a ton of flowers, and it almost looks better if you don't have a ton. But to have one of a lot of different varieties, that really works well for this project. So you may be able to find dandelions, maybe some violets, tulips are starting to bloom, and daffodils. These are the first flowers to grow in the beginning of spring. So there's going to be more flowers and different flowers that come up as the seasons go on. A lot of these plants are not indigenous or native, which means that they are not the plants that would normally or originally grow here. So I'm going to head off into the woods, and I'm going to see if I can find some of the more indigenous or native plants to include in my project. So once you're out in the woods, you got to really keep your eyes open, because the native or the indigenous plants are usually not as bright or vibrant, or typically don't see them as well as you do flowers that would be in your own gardens. For example, this is what is known as a jack in the pulpit. And if you lift up this petal right here, you can see on the inside this pistil. And the pistil catches any pollen so it can pollinate the flower. So depending on where you go is where you're going to be able to find the different types of flowers and plants and leaves that you would like to press. These are ferns. Once I get home, I'm going to take the flowers that I've gathered, or the leaves, or anything else that you want to press, and I'm going to take a big book. So being an art teacher, I have a lot of really thick books that are full of art history. So I tend to use these a lot for my pressing. So I'm going to open it up almost to the back, because you want as much pressure to be on the flowers as possible. Once I've done that, I'm going to take the flowers and I'm going to arrange them in the ways that I want. So this one I want actually open so I can see that pistil that we've talked about before. And I'm going to take a couple more of these. And I'm not going to fill up the whole page. I just want some of the page to show the flowers. That way, when we press it, it'll be nice and flat. If you have too many flowers, it'll get real thick, and then it won't press well. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to close her up, I'm going to press down like this. It's going to take a couple of days for these to flatten out and to get really nice and smooth. So I've got a couple in here that I started a day ago. So here's some of them, and you can see how they're starting to flatten out and to press into the way that I wanted them to. So these aren't quite ready, but I'm going to use these as an example. The next thing that you're going to need, a nice sheet of paper. Now, I've got a nice thick sheet of paper, so this will last me a long time. But if you want, you can use a regular copy sheet of paper. You can even use notebook paper. But honestly, if you want these to last, you're going to want a nice cardstock type of piece of paper. So I'm going to take these different flowers that I've already pressed, and then I'm going to arrange them so they look nice and pretty on my piece of paper. So once I've got them the way that I want them, I'm going to take some regular Elmer's glue, and I'm going to put this on the paper. I'm not going to put a lot. I'm just going to put little lines, and then I'm going to glue these into place. The fun thing about this is it becomes kind of like a Pokemon hunt. So the more rare the flowers and petals and leaves and things that you get, the more fun it is to get them. And you can make a collection out of them. You can look them up in field guides. And after a while, you'll start collecting ones that are super rare. For example, this is a fire flower that I got in Alaska. This is a violet type flower that I found in Iceland. If you really want them to last a long time, you can get contact paper and press it over them to preserve them, or you can get picture frames or other ways to show your work off. So the farther you go out and explore, find the things that you do know and find the things that you don't know, will help you to find a lot of new and exciting things that you can frame your own artworks. In fact, you could use a lot of these to help your own drawings, and it has a lot of things that you can tell people that you've learned, and you can share your own adventures with other people. Do more, do better.